On the 18th and 19th of August, the South African National Rally Championship rolled into Bronkhorstspruit in northeastern Gauteng for the fifth round of the 2017 series. The event was the HMC Electrothread Rally, and the championship was delicately poised. To add to the drama, the event boasted the biggest R2 class field of the year, featuring 10 cars ready to mix it up for championship points on the exceptionally technical roads. The talk of the event was the return of double national champion Hergen Fecken. Richard Leek, Asger Potgieter and Guy Botterill would have to be at their very best to match the legendary Fecken. The Electrothread Rally would be characterized by tight and twisty sections, opening into jump-filled high-speed straights, all lined by powder-fine dust. The dust billowed into the crisp, high-felt winter air, drifting on the steady breeze and coating the spectators who lined the roads. More importantly though, the dust played havoc with pinpointing braking zones, as it made the road's surfaces treacherously slippery, and punishing overbraking as harshly as late braking by making accelerating out of tight corners particularly difficult.
People think it's the same stages as always, but all the stages have been significantly rerouted. Some of them have been turned around, we're doing in other direction. So they're all a fresh challenge. The farmers and landowners have gone to a lot of trouble to fix the roads. For this time of year, I think the condition is very good. It will be dusty and slippery though, and some parts will be very sandy, but without any S2000 cars out there, I think they're not going to dig up as they did in the past.
The event's lone night stage took place on gravel too. With the breeze dropping, the wind-still conditions amplified the amount of dust hanging over the roads. The Electrothread Rally then was set up as one for the history books. In the flagship R2 class, the championship battle was shaping up to be the most fiercely contested battle in many a year. Defending champion Guy Botterill found himself trailing Richard Leek by 4 points. But with each driver allowed to drop their worst result, Botterill's 0 from the VW Rally would fall away, while Leek's worst result, a 4th place, would see him drop 5 points. Chris Kurtze meanwhile was in 3rd, with Asger Potgieter in 4th. In the Classics class, Lee Rose's impeccable start to the season saw him lead the standings, although a DNF at the VW Rally and a DNS in Bronkhorstspruit allowed the chasing pack to close the gap. Fellow Electrothread Rally absentee Etienne Malherbe was Rose's nearest rival, while Roelof Kurtze could be the main beneficiary of their absence. The Electrothread sponsored driver was looking to score maximum points with a strong showing in his Ford Escort Mark II. The Open class makes use of a complex formula to determine the championship standings. This is done to even out the playing fields in a class where Rory Eland competes in a Subaru Impreza against the likes of Lunay Snyman in a Toyota Taz. After 4 rounds, Japie van Niekerk leads the Open class championship by 1 point from Lunay Snyman. The R2 championship would be shaken up by the reintroduction of Hergen Fecken to the lineup for the Electrothread Rally. The 2008 and 2009 South African National Rally champion returned for a once-off rally, taking part in the Electrothread Toyota Etios. It's been 12 years since Fecken last raced in a front-wheel drive car and a long absence in the National Rally Championship. He's had limited time in the car ahead of the Electrothread Rally.
Look, I stopped competing still 2 years ago when we were still running the S2000s, and obviously they're 4-wheel drive cars, totally different, lot more horsepower, but these cars are actually quite fast. They actually surprised me. 1600 goes well, it's got a very good suspension, and the gearbox, I mean, it's a 6-speed sequential gearbox, so I was really impressed.
His rivals, though, were excited by the opportunity of taking on one of the legends of the sport in South Africa.
I think Herken's probably got more experience than all of us put together. He's been a factory driver for numerous years in multiple different brands, been Toyota and VW predominantly. He's just really a South African legend for rallying, and it's a great honour to be racing against him and with him. And everyone's just excited to race with someone with that calibre. We're looking forward to seeing his pace and seeing how he goes out there. You always want to gauge yourself against the best, and Herken has certainly proved himself being a multiple champion in S2000 in a factory team. He's won the championship a few times, so it's nice to gauge yourself. It's good for the younger guys, it's good for myself, it's good for everybody, and best of all, it's good for the sport.
Stage 1 of the Electrothread Rally got underway on Friday afternoon with Chris Kurza sweeping the road in his Electrothread Mazda 2. Next on the road was the hard-charging Richard Leek in the ATS Ford Fiesta, with Henry Kona in the co-driver's seat. Leek went into the rally knowing that only a victory would do in order to keep the pressure on Botterill. The Toyota Gazoo racing pairing of Guy Botterill and Simon Vassilile were third on the road, chasing the dust plumes left by Leek's Ford. Next was Jono van Wyk in a Ford Fiesta, returning after missing the VW rally, with Scott Howden calling the notes. Then came Chart Conradi and Marie van der Walt in the Silverton Engineering Toyota Etios. Asia Potgieter and Nico Swartz had experienced a mixed season going into the Electrothread Rally, with podium places alternating with DNFs. The VW Polo pairing would need to score solid points in Bronkhorstspruit. Hergen Fecken and Elvien Kutsia had the advantage of running 7th on the opening day of the Electrothread Rally in their Toyota Etios. George Smalberger and Chris Brand were behind Fecken on the road in the Shield VW Polo. Nico Nienaber and Gert Janssen van Rensburg were the final R2 runners in a VW Polo. Following the R2 cars were the spectacular classic rally cars, spearheaded by the Ford Escorts. First on the road were Nati Boyson and Leslie McKenzie in the Digimag Ford Escort, followed by the leading championship hopefuls of the rally, Roelof Kurza and Barry White in the Electrothread Ford Escort Mark II. Taking on the Escorts were Lola and Eddie Verlaak in a classic VW City Golf. Megan and Olivier completed the Verlaak family affair by following Lola and Eddie in another VW Golf. Gerard Okamp and Moritz Malherbe meanwhile were campaigning in a classic Toyota Corolla. After Richard Leek set the fastest time on the opening stage, Guy Botterill stormed to stage victory and into the overall lead on stage 2. Botterill and Simon Vassilei's ability to remain smooth and fast on the most challenging conditions is what set the pair apart from the rest of the field. Hergen Fecken posted the second fastest time on the stage. Asia Potgieter was the third fastest on the stage, but was already 17 seconds off the pace. Richard Leek lost 10 seconds to Botterill on stage 2. An electronic gremlin played havoc on the Ford during the stage, but fortunately on closer inspection it transpired that it was generating false warnings rather than signalling a real problem with the car. Johannes Potgieter's Ford Fiesta experienced a very real problem on stage 2.
Yeah, we were pushing a bit harder than suspected, and we went around the corner. And I felt something was wrong with the gearbox, and we nursed it a bit and went around the irrigation side, and then we broke the side shaft, the set clip on the side shaft, and it came out and I didn't get gears. So we came to a halt, so yeah, it was a bit of bad luck.
Catch a brand new season of 4x4 off-road on Ignition. From mud pluggers to street bruisers, station wagons on stilts to cutesy run-arounds with higher clearance. You'll find it all on this series. That's 4x4 Off-Road, only on Ignition. DSTV channel 189.
This week on Stealth Rider, Jason and the guys mount a creative offensive in the City of Angels to produce a guerrilla-style homage to Hollywood action films.
You have never seen somebody do it like this. Well, maybe, but the crazy got them doing better.
On Stealth Rider.
After 2 stages, Guy Botterill leads the rally by 5 seconds over Hergen Fecken. Meanwhile, the open class cars were engaged in their own battle. The characteristic Subaru Impreza Turbo Wine signaled the arrival of Rory Eland and Erwin Badenhorst. Due to their low running costs, the Toyota Tazz is exceptionally popular. They make up 60% of the open class field. Along with the ubiquitous Tazzes and the lone Impreza, the open class featured a Polo, Golf and a Toyota Corolla. As the sun set over Bronkhorstspruit, the crews prepared the cars for the gravel night stage. The dropping temperatures did not deter the rally fans as they eagerly awaited the resumption of action. The 12-kilometer long route for the Electrothread Rally's solo night stage proved exceptionally difficult. It twisted and turned, looping back towards itself on numerous occasions, making it difficult to maintain momentum. The thorn tree-lined sections in particular proved treacherous, with the majority of the field choosing to exercise caution rather than risk crashing out. Hergen Fecken tapped into his extensive experience of rallying at night on gravel surfaces to claim the stage victory. The concept of night stages off-road is hardly a new one, but it has definitely slipped out of vogue in recent years. The Electrothread Rally was in fact the first rally of the 2017 South African National Rally Championship season to boast a 100% gravel night stage. The younger drivers like Richard Leek, Asia Potgieter and Guy Botterill are far more accustomed to urban night stages, hosted in shopping mall car parks. And it showed as Fecken claimed his first stage victory of the rally. Fecken's time was 2.1 seconds faster than Botterill's on the stage, a massive 7.5 faster than Potgieter's, and a huge 11.4 seconds faster than Leek's. At the conclusion of day one, Guy Botterill led the Electrothread Rally by 3 seconds from Hergen Fecken, with Richard Leek in third, 18 seconds off the pace. The classic class was led by Gerard Oukamp and Maurits Malherbe, while fellow Toyota Corolla crew Peter Leclerc and Moritz Brits were second overall. In the open class, Etienne Lawrence and Matt Kohler were leading after 3 stages, a credible 3 minutes and 14 seconds off Botterill in the outright rally lead. This year, the National Rally Championships Organising Committee has implemented numerous strategies to attract rally fans back to the roadsides to spectate. The Electrothread Rally saw arguably the biggest crowds of the season so far. The accessibility of the drivers and crews to the fans played a significant role in attracting fans to the events. They made every effort to be approachable and even made time to speak to fans while recovering between stages in the service park. The night stage on Friday night and the final 2 stages of the rally on Saturday afternoon at the Willem Prinsloo Museum in particular attracted large crowds.
I haven't seen so many spectators in a long time, so that is awesome.
Along with the fiercely competitive rally action enthralling the fans, the addition of food carts, coffee vendors, a mobile bar and Tux FM broadcasting live from the rally added to the festive atmosphere.
So basically we're just here to play some music, get the guys amped whilst they're doing their servicing, because they have about 40 minutes to service, so we're just trying to keep them a little bit entertained, and we're also live streaming it on Tux FM so our listeners can basically hear what's happening. So yeah, we've been taken around, we've been rattled, and we're just playing some cool rock music just to, you know, get the vibe going. I think there needs to be a good vibe when it comes to rally car driving, for sure.
After 3 closely contested stages on the opening day of the rally, the bulk of the racing still lay ahead on the morning of Saturday the 19th of August. 100 kilometers spread across 7 stages were scheduled for day 2 of the rally. So there would be plenty of opportunities to make up or lose time. Concentration would be key.
The stages are all about 15 kilometers long, so it's not that long, but it's a lot of them. And it's 2 stages before service, so you really need to focus, especially with the way we're going to have to push today. We've got a bit of a deficit to make up to the front guys. We're going to have to try and do it, so the focus is going to be there. You're going to have to be on your notes and try and concentrate for 10-11 minutes.
Guy Botterill kick-started the day with a dominant drive on the 15-kilometer long stage 4. The Toyota Gazoo Racing driver extended his overall lead by 5 seconds over Hergen Fecken. Fecken lost time to Botterill due to a broken gear lever. The lever initially buckled and then broke completely on the stage, forcing him to reach further down to shift gears. Richard Leake continued with his consistent, if not spectacular pace on day 2, placing 3rd on the first stage of the morning. With a full day of rallying ahead of them, the steadily increasing number of fans were treated to the sight of 8 cars doing battle for the classic class honours. The pageantry and drama of the old cars is impossible to match for the modern R2s, especially as they fishtail around a corner. The first stage was not without incident, however. Rally sponsor Chris Kurzer of Electrothread was forced to withdraw en route to stage 4. He had left the service park with a misfiring engine, but on the liaison to the stage start, it became clear that attempting to nurse the car through the stage would do more harm than good, and his Electrothread Rally came to an end. Another victim of the infamous sponsor's curse. On stage 5, Guy Botterill once again increased his rally lead. Richard Leake meanwhile clocked the 2nd fastest time on the stage, but as he was trailing Botterill by 25 seconds overall, he would have to dramatically improve his pace. Before stage 5, Hergen Fecken made emergency repairs to the broken gear lever, jamming a screwdriver down the broken shaft and duct taping it into place. This saw him through the stage.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. We had 2 long ones, and 3Ks into the stage we broke the gear lever. So we had to drive the first stage out without any gear lever, just shifting it on the end. And luckily, Hergen being a boer, he made a boer maak 'n plan. So he fixed it with a screwdriver and duct tape. So we could go faster on the 2nd stage, but we lost a little bit of time. But no worries, there's still 6 to go.
We're the people that bring the world to you. The people you come home to every night. The people that create things that change your life, then disappear into your everyday. We believe in changing lives, in sharing our success, in nurturing undiscovered talent, in the power of homegrown, and the stars of tomorrow. We believe in inspiration, in innovation, in making the extraordinary possible and the revolutionary commonplace. We do this every day, not just to bring the world to you, but because our world is inspired by you. Multi-choice, enriching lives.
The results from stage 4 and 5 allowed Botterill to extend his overall lead to 15.9 seconds over Hergen Fecken. On stage 6, Guy Botterill's run of stage victories was halted by Hergen Fecken. Richard Leek, though, could not follow Fecken's lead and claw back time on the rally leader. Outside of the R2 podium places were Nico Nienaber, George Smallberger and Chart Conradi. Taking tiger lines were Jandre Nienaber and Robbie Coetzee, while Hergen Fecken was the picture of poise and control on his way to victory by 7.2 seconds on the stage. From stage 6, RC Potgieter was forced into survival mode when his VW Polo lost third gear. Without a spare gearbox at the rally, he had no choice but to nurse the car.
Oh no, definitely we're struggling from second to fourth, but we will bring it to the end and just score points, and that's the important part of the rally.
After the fright of losing 7 seconds to Hergen Fecken on stage 6, Guy Botterill put the hammer down once more on stage 7. Fecken too was charging hard, under a second slower than Botterill. Richard Leek set the third fastest time on the stage. The billowing dust limited visibility as the stage was a repeat of the night before's stage 3. Switching back on itself forced the drivers through their own dust and made the already technical conditions treacherous. After 7 stages, Guy Botterill led Hergen Fecken by 9.3 seconds and Richard Leek by 27.7.
Yeah, no, we spoke about it beforehand. We decided to take their max. We had nothing to lose. Stage 8 went quite well for us. We had 1 or 2 overshoots, but otherwise it was good.
As Richard Leek alluded, stage 8 was filled with jumps. While many of the R2 cars took the jumps at spectacular speeds and got all 4 wheels in the air, Leek was the clear winner in terms of distance travelled while airborne. In weighing up risk and reward equations, Leek tends to err on the side of risk, which makes for great viewing, though it does not always equate to the fastest times. While the R2 cars were going for distance, the classic and open class drivers were a little more circumspect. Typically rallying on much smaller budgets or in cars which are a labour of love, they tend to be more risk averse. On stage 9, it was business as usual for Guy Botterill as he claimed another stage win. Richard Leek posted the second fastest time, but time was running out to move up in the overall standings. Hergen Fecken had to ease the Electrothread Toyota Etios slightly through stage 9, losing 5 seconds.
At the end of stage 8, we were standing in the open section and I didn't realize, but just before we left, I saw I had a flat wheel at the left rear and there wasn't enough time to change it. So I had to nurse it through stage 9. So the right hand corners we nursed it a little bit, but well, we lost about 5 seconds to Guy on that stage, so 2 stages to go.
With just over 11 kilometers left in the rally, the gap between Guy Botterill and Hergen Fecken was 14.8 seconds. The final 2 stages took place at the Willem Prinsloo Agricultural Museum and attracted the biggest crowd of the weekend. The mixed gravel and asphalt course, which was run twice, provided plenty of excitement. The open class cars arguably provided the most thrills for the fans. The regional rally competitors had joined the class for the second day, swelling the numbers to 20 cars. The mixed abilities, large numbers of cheering friends and family members, rooting for the regional competitors in particular, and even a final stage breakdown all added to the excitement. With the R2 class drivers and co-drivers congregated at the best viewpoints on the course, the pressure built, and there were wrong turns, extra loops, and even a misjudged corner which sent the timekeepers running for cover. The classic class was concluded with little more decorum but no less screeching tyres, especially from the rear-wheel drive Escorts. Those lovingly restored vehicles are rallied by some of the most passionate people in the sport. While the category provides them with the added incentive of competition, their real aim for each rally weekend remains to have as much fun as possible. The rally had proved frustrating for Asia Potgieter, and he had not been able to push for the podium, but he still banked solid championship points. George Smallberger brought his Shield VW Polo home safely too, finishing in 7th position after 2 tough days of the Electrothread Rally. Chart Conradi concluded the rally in 6th position overall. Finishing under Super Rally rules, Johannes Potgieter scored just 1.5 points rather than 3 because he missed a stage on day 1. Nico Nienaber meanwhile finished 5th in his VW Polo. Richard Leake's rally, though, without major incident, did not quite go to plan. Having come into the Electrothread Rally with a 4-point championship lead, his 3rd place drops him to 2nd behind Botterill.
The rally started off quite well for us for the first stage, winning that stage. From there it went a bit downhill. In the 2nd and 3rd stage we had some problems with our gear pod. It was messing us around a bit, so we couldn't select the gear nicely. This morning we seemed to fix the problem, and today went much better for us. Our times were quite competitive, I think, so we're happy.
Hergen Fecken's 2nd place after 2 years off from the National Rally Championships was a remarkable achievement. It showed that he had lost none of that old championship winning pace.
Yeah, no, it was fun. Really enjoyed it. Cars are quite good. The youngsters are going very well. Guy did a great job today, and Richard also. I mean, the time says it. We're all very close together. So well done.
Taking his 3rd rally victory of the 2017 season was Guy Botterill. The Toyota Gazoo racing driver was back to his consistent best at the Electrothread Rally after subpar showings at the Secunda and VW rallies.
Definitely, when the engine broke in PE with basically one long stage to go, I was devastated. I couldn't believe the engine was broken. I even tried to start it after the stage, but definitely bounce back with a win is fantastic. And to tussle with Hergen and Richard like we did on this event is fantastic.
In conclusion, the open class was won by Rory Eland and Erwin Badenhorst in the Subaru Impreza, with Etienne Lawrence and Matt Kohler in 2nd. The classic class was won for the sponsors by the Electrothread Ford Escort of Roelof Koetser and Barry White. Pierre Leclerc and Maurice Brits were 2nd. Guy Botterill's winning margin was 10.7 seconds in the R2 class, while the gap between Hergen Fecken and Richard Leake was 9 seconds. After 5 of the 7 rallies of the 2017 calendar, Rory Eland leads Lunay Snyman by 3 points in the Open Class Championship title race. In the Classic class, Lee Rose still leads on 84 points, but Roelof Koetser is now just 15 points behind the series leader on 69. In the Principal category, the R2 class, Guy Botterill now leads Richard Leake by 3 points with 2 rallies remaining. Asia Potgieter meanwhile closed the gap to 7 points between himself and Chris Koetser in 3rd. The penultimate round of the 2017 South African National Rally Championship sees the series move south for the Cape Rally. Be sure to visit www.sarallying.co.za for more information, and make your way to Caledon on the 20th and 21st of September to watch the rally action live. Or follow SA Rallying on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram to stay updated. You've been watching the Electrothread Rally. Until next time, goodbye.
Sit back and relax as Ignition